The Beijing Auto Show tape measure ferry may be late, but it's here. Look at this design and posture. Japanese people are definitely professional. Not only did I take a tape measure this time, and the vernier calipers have all brought you. May I ask if you want to upgrade your tools in the era of fuel-powered cars? Just have a super appearance, but in the era of electrification, the appearance is really easy to copy. If there is no core technological strength, no matter how beautiful the appearance is, you are just a knockoff. Actually, this year's Beijing Auto Show, foreign media have also reported on it. Let's see what they all say. The European Automotive Portal website says, BYD is redefining the luxury era. The entire article seems to have never mentioned looking up to U70's magnetic levitation black technology, and the ability to climb hills beyond Western for wheel drive, and for some other websites, it's like this: BYD's ambition, far beyond electric vehicles. It also introduced another business of BYD, but the problem is, similarly, BYD was not mentioned. Core technology. What about my old friend Reuters? With the news headline Beijing Auto Show enters car war, reported information related to the Beijing Auto Show, but very roughly. On the whole, it's all about introducing market share. Similarly, there was no introduction to China's new automotive technologies at the Beijing Auto Show, and another article just splashed dirty water directly, saying that Chinese car sales are lukewarm at the same time. They mock Chinese car brands for having neither history nor technology to compete. People who can write such articles, that can basically be considered either foolish or bad. Looking up at the two black technologies on U7, I didn't even mention it, not to mention that China's intelligent driving has already begun to run on the road, for the various Western behaviors of splashing dirty water on Chinese cars. We seem to have become accustomed to it. On the contrary, after more netizens came to the Beijing Auto Show, send the video to YouTube or TikTok. Now it has also caused a huge sensation, praising one after another. Chinese electric cars are simply not on the same channel as Western electric cars. Far ahead, even Japanese media directly reported, how many years can Japan's automotive industry last? This is an absolutely rare soul question, but unfortunately, the public opinion environment in Japan from top to bottom, it is widely believed that Japan's automotive industry is still far ahead. The Chinese automotive industry is just a superficial talk. Hey, I like your kind of view of hiding one's ears and stealing the bell. In the near future, the major setbacks of other car brands, that is something destined by fate. Japanese cars that once dominated the majority of the market in China, due to stagnation and security issues, it is gradually withdrawing from China. It has greatly affected the sales and industrial chain of Japanese cars. What are the reasons behind the withdrawal of Japanese cars from the Chinese market? Speaking of Japanese cars, everyone must have remembered it casually. Toyota, Mitsubishi, Honda et al. These Japanese cars rely on fuel efficiency, stable advantages. In the 1990s, it occupied a huge market in China. At its peak, the market share accounted for 23.1% of the Chinese market, but in recent years, with the development of the Chinese automotive market, expansion of Chinese independent brands, the sales volume of Japanese cars is gradually declining. The market share is only 14.4%. Faced with the dilemma of reducing production at any time, while China's automobile industry is flourishing, the sales volume of Japanese cars in our country is not satisfactory. Faced with the problem of reduced production in the Chinese market, what are the reasons behind these? The first aspect is the development of new energy vehicles in China. The Chinese automotive market is constantly developing and changing. Japanese cars are facing stimulating challenges from foreign companies and the constantly rising domestic brands in China However, the development and investment of new energy vehicles in Japan are relatively backward compared to China and foreign-funded enterprises. Under the pressure brought by the Chinese market, the Japanese side not only lacks innovation, but we also want to prevent Chinese new energy vehicles from entering the Japanese market. In 2023, BYD, which is getting better and better in the field of new energy, most Japanese car companies envy and want to eliminate BYD. Even the Japanese authorities have started to criticize. Toyota's head, Akio Toyoda, believes that pure electric cars are still not environmentally friendly in terms of power generation. It's just a disguised reduction in emissions. At the same time, BYD at T3 was blocked by the Japanese government as soon as it entered the Japanese market, claiming to have detected hexavalent chromium in BYD cars. Hexavalent chromium is a chemical product prohibited in Japan. In our country, hexavalent chromium can be used in cars with 9 or more seats. Moreover, hexavalent chromium does not pose any harm to the human body during normal driving and daily life, but it is precisely this chemical substance that the Japanese government has been holding on to. But BYD did not give up due to Japan's obstruction. Instead, blade batteries were produced. Its stable properties also reduce the risk of spontaneous combustion. Manufacturing costs and consumer car purchase costs have also significantly decreased. Let the world shine before their eyes. Since then, BYD's sales have surged, standing at the forefront of the world's automotive industry. After this incident, Japanese car companies have not learned from their mistakes. Still stick to your own position, not adapting to market transformation in a timely manner. The product and structure are too monotonous. Unreasonable pricing, inadequate marketing, and other factors have led to a continuous reduction in production of Japanese cars. The market share in the Chinese automotive market is continuously decreasing. Meanwhile, China's independent brands are constantly expanding. For example, BYD Auto, Zhaopeng Motors, Neo Automobile, and others are constantly developing and making progress. BYD even won the global sales crown for new energy vehicles. The second aspect is the persuasiveness of Japanese cars. Several recalls of Japanese cars, causing a decrease in people's confidence in Japanese cars. Takata Motors in Japan conceals quality defects in safety airbags. Mitsubishi and Suzuki have tampered with exhaust emissions and fuel consumption data. The problem of brake failure. Mitsubishi also recalled 450,000 cars after concealing car defects and being exposed by the public. The falsification and concealment of defects in Japanese cars continue to disappoint Chinese consumers towards Japanese cars. The trust in Japanese cars is gradually weakening. In 2022, a Lexus LM crashed on the highway. After the accident, this millionaire car unexpectedly, the door lock is locked. Both inside and outside the car cannot be opened. Ultimately, it resulted in 1 death and 2 injuries. These issues require self-reflection and improvement by Japanese brands. Instead of bowing and apologizing and thinking it can solve the problem, the mediocrity of Japanese car brands has led to their slow development. Sales have declined. Looking at Chinese car brands, continuously learning and improve one's own strength. Realize rapid development in the Chinese market. In the increasingly developing automotive industry, the sales of cars produced by Chinese independent brands are constantly increasing. Japanese cars are constantly falling. During the heyday of Japanese cars, the highest market share in China is as high as 32%, but now it has reached a point where monthly sales are only a few vehicles. Japanese car sales decreased by 52.5% year-on-year, showing a negative growth trend compared to domestic new energy enterprises. They are relatively more vibrant, ushered in great development. In 2023, China's automobile sales market share reached as high as 31.6%. At the same time, the annual sales of new energy vehicles in China reached 9.5 million, ranked first in the world for 9 consecutive years, facing strong challenges in the field of new energy. Japanese car companies are unwilling to give up the profits brought by gasoline cars. The selling price of BYD's Han-DM Honor Edition is 169,800 yuan. Meanwhile, Toyota Camry, which went public at the same time, in terms of size, configuration, when the power and other aspects are fully at a disadvantage, still offering a starting price of 171,800 yuan. The Han-DM Honor Edition is exactly 2,000 yuan more expensive. Consumers will definitely choose more favorable options under the same configuration. In this situation, the Japanese side has not actively responded to changes in the automotive market. The significant decrease in sales of Japanese cars. In 2023, the cumulative retail sales of Japanese car market reached 3.69 million units, a year-on-year decrease of 9.9%, but they attribute these problems to changes in Chinese policies, a 50% discount on the purchase tax of gasoline vehicles, subsidies for new energy vehicles. But these are not the fundamental reasons. The root cause is the stagnation of Japanese car companies. Without proactive innovation, lack of awareness in responding to market changes correctly, domestic new energy vehicles are constantly flourishing, achieved surpassing Japanese cars. China's new energy vehicles, with their cost-effectiveness, price and innovation, being favored by more consumers. China also relies on new energy technologies, exceeding Japan. It is the world's largest exporter of automobiles. In 2023, China exported a total of 4.91 million vehicles, increased by 57.9%. The cars sold to the outside world contributed as much as 55.7% to the total sales growth of automobiles. In such an automotive market environment, China is still constantly innovating, having strong competitiveness. In terms of price, it is also relatively lower compared to Japanese and foreign vehicles, so today's Japanese cars are not as cost-effective and safe as China's new energy vehicles. In the new market environment, Japanese cars can only catch the trend, continuously reform and innovate. Recognize the problems you truly face. Don't attribute your decline to external reasons. Only with the continuous changes in the market can innovation have a long-term competitiveness in the world automotive market. Against the backdrop of the continuous development of new energy vehicles, there are more and more car brands in China. For example, the recently released Xiaomi SU7. On the first day of listing, there were over 1,000 pre-orders in stores. Car companies are quite competitive, more newcomers joining, promote the overall development of the automotive industry, provide consumers with more choices. Fuel-powered vehicles, new energy vehicles, every consumer can choose according to their own needs. In the context of the development of new energy, domestic vehicles are also showing a considerable trend. Price, performance is constantly being optimized. Promote the healthy development and competition of automotive enterprises. Provide consumers with vehicles with better cost effectiveness. Serving consumers, Japanese cars withdraw from the domestic corporate market. It will have a certain impact on the Chinese automotive industry. Japanese car companies withdraw from China. This will lead to a reconversion and allocation of China's automotive market, providing more and more opportunities for China's own automobile brands and foreign brands. Chinese car companies have a large proportion in the domestic market. Promote the development and influence of the Chinese market. The failure cases of Japanese companies provide us with more positive insights. To recognize the market situation, seize the opportunity, timely innovation and improvement, Staying stagnant means regressing. Enterprises cannot indulge in temporary prosperity, only through continuous reform and innovation. To enhance the competitiveness of enterprises, only then can stable development be achieved. The exit of Japanese car companies will have a certain impact on the development of the automotive industry. It will affect the automotive industry chain and supply chain. This is particularly evident between car dealers and suppliers, because the withdrawal of Japanese companies may face personnel arrangements at any time. Fund processing, inventory issues. It is a very significant pressure. The withdrawal of Japanese cars will result in some people losing their jobs. Dealers of some Japanese cars, sales personnel may be affected by the withdrawal of Japanese cars and choose other jobs. At the same time, the withdrawal of Japanese companies may affect the standards of automobile production. Take away automotive production technology. These issues need to be actively addressed by Chinese automotive companies, working together, continuously innovating technology. Market adjustments jointly promote the development of Chinese car companies. When Japanese cars exit against the backdrop of continuous development of new energy, we should seize market opportunities even more, continuously reform and innovate, put in effort, improve the competitiveness of enterprises, promote the development of Chinese car companies. Why do so many people dislike BYD? The automotive industry is Japan's last economic pillar. Once the Japanese automotive industry collapses, Japan will return to developing countries. In the next 3 years starting from this year, Chinese automotive brands led by BYD, we will launch a war of annihilation against Japanese cars in the Chinese market. I estimate that after this round of annihilation, the situation of Japanese cars in the Chinese market is similar to today's Korean cars. Do you think this is over? No, Chinese car brands such as BYD have also begun to expand their presence in Europe, Southeast Asia, Latin American and other markets are vying for market share in Japanese cars. Initiate a resistance war against the Japanese system. Ultimately, Japanese cars can only retreat to the North American and domestic markets. Of course, even worse could be, the United States is also going to slaughter Japanese cars and eat meat. That Japanese car only had its own small local market left. That will lead to the situation I mentioned earlier. If I were a Japanese person, or it could be Seiri, or it could be the Hesheng kneeling tribe, I must also hate BYD very much, but I